teacher Macy, and for this video, let me discuss the different laws of exponents. Okay, so first is, let's define what is exponent. So when we say exponents, it tells the number of times the base is used as a factor. For this example, so we have x squared here. So x is the base while the 2 here is the exponent. So it says that the exponent tells how many times the base was used as a factor. So that means for this term, we have x squared. That means we need to multiply the x by 2. Okay? So x squared, that is x times x. Next is, for this one, we have the 5 squared. So ang base natin is 5 and the exponent is 2. So that means we need to use 5 as a factor twice. So that is 5 times 5. And then, simplify it. So 5 times 5, the product is 25. Next is, we have 3 cubed or 3 raised to 3. So that means we need to multiply 3 or use it as a factor thrice. That is 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and times 3, that is 27. Okay, and of course, we have another one here, 2 raised to 4. We need to multiply 2 4 times. Okay, so 2 times 2 is equal to 4, times 2 is equal to 8, and times 2 is equal to 6. 2 raised to 4 is equal to 16. So that's how exponent works. Okay, so now let's discuss the different laws of exponents, and let's begin with the first law of exponents. So the first law of exponents, or also known as the product of power rule, so it says that when multiplying two bases of the same value, keep the bases the same and then add the exponents together to get the solution. Okay? So for letter A, we have 8 squared times 8 cubed. Okay, so as you can see, parehas sila ng base. So the base is 8. Yan, so keep the base the same. So just write the base and then add the exponents together. So that means we need to add 2 plus 3. Okay, so the base is 8 and then 2 plus 3, that is equal to 5. Okay, so the answer is 8 raised to 5. Next, for letter B, or the second given, our base 10. So 10 yung base, and then the exponents, we need to add them. That is 5 plus 4 is equal to 10 raised to 9. For letter C, so our base, so the base for this given is 25. And then add its exponent. So 10 plus 13, that is equal to 23. So 25 raised to 23. So, as you can see in letter D, magkaiba yung base nila. So, for this one, the base is 12 and the other one is 7. So, that means we cannot apply the first law of exponents or the product of power rule in this given. So, the answer is the same. So, hindi natin pwedeng i-add ang kanilang exponents since magkaiba sila ng base. Okay, so that is the first law of exponent or the product of power rule. So by the way, when we say power, another term for the exponent. So exponent is power. Okay, next is, let's move on to the second law of exponents, which is the power of power rule. So power of power rule, exponent of exponent rule. Ayan, so for this law, it says that All we have to do is to multiply the exponents together and keep the base the same. So, just multiply the exponents and keep the base the same. So, as you can see, we have a parenthesis here. And so, we have the base, which is x, and the exponent of this base is 6, and there is another exponent outside the parenthesis. Okay? So, kapag ganito yung given, you need to multiply the exponents together. Yan. So, that is x, and then 6 times 4. So, keep the base the same. So, just copy the base and then multiply it. 6 times 4, that is 24. So, the answer is x raised to 24. Next, for letter B, the base is 3. Copy the base and then multiply its exponent. So, that is 2 times 3. So, our base is 3. 2 times 3, that is equal to 6. Okay, so that is 3 raised to 6. Next is for letter C, the base is 4, of course. There. And then 7 times 7. That is 4 raised to 49. And of course, letter D. So, just multiply its exponents. So, that is y. And then 12 times 3. 12 times 3, that is equal to 36. So, the answer for letter D is y raised to 36. Okay? So, that is for the second law of exponents. So, let's tackle another law, which is the third law of exponents, or the power of product rule. The power of product rule. So, when any base is being multiplied by an exponent, distribute the exponent to each part of the base. So, that means we need to distribute the exponents to each variables inside the parentheses. So, it becomes x raised to 6 and then y raised to 6. Or to the 6th power. Okay, so just distribute the exponent to each part of the base. Next is for this given 5a squared. So 5a squared, distribute the exponent first. So this becomes 5 squared and then a squared. So still we can simplify this. So what is 5 times 5? That is equal to 25 and then a squared. So that is the final answer for letter D, 25a squared. Next is for the letter C. And so we have 3. Distribute the exponent x. Yan. So we need to apply the second law of exponent here. So we need to multiply the power to another power here, or the exponent. So that is 2 times 3 is equal to 6. And for y, 5 times 3 is equal to 50. We can simplify this one. Okay, so that is 3 times 3 times 3 is equal to 27. X raised to 6 power. And then y raised to 15. So, as simple as that. Next. Okay, so for letter D, as you can see, we have addition. So, addition yung operation between these two terms. So, we will not distribute the exponent. Let's copy it. 20 plus y raised to 5. So, this is only applicable if the operation between The variables and the numerical coefficients are multiplication. Okay, so since this is addition, so that is the final answer. So 20 plus y raised to 5. So we can simplify it, but that is another lesson. So let's not tackle that here, maybe on another video. Okay, so let's move on to the fourth law of exponents, or the quotient of power rule. So when dividing two bases of the same value, keep the base the same and then subtract the exponent value. So we have the first given, x plus 4 raised to 10, and then x plus 4 raised to 10. The base is x plus 4. So it says that we need to subtract the exponent value. So you need to observe which one has a smaller exponent. Yan, so we have here 10 and then 12. So 10 is smaller, right? So doon natin siya i-minus. So the smaller exponent becomes our subtrahend. Yan. So 10 minus 10, that is 0. And 12 minus 10, that is 2. So x plus 4 raised to 2. Okay, so we have another law of exponents. It says that yung zero power rule, so any number raised to 0 that is equal to 1. Since 0 na ang exponent ng ating numerator, so it becomes 1. So any number raised to 0 is equal to 1. Next is, let's just copy our denominator, which is x plus 4 raised to 2. So the final answer is this one. So 1 over x plus 4 raised to 2. Another example for the fourth law of exponents. Yan. So another example. So we have 2a raised to 5 times b squared times c. Tapos may exponent sa labas, which is 3. Next is 2a squared times b cubed times c 6 raised to 6. And then, it is squared outside the parentheses. Okay, so first is, let's use the second law of exponents. So which is, we need to distribute the exponents out of the parentheses first. So, i-distribute muna natin yung exponents sa lahat ng given inside the parentheses. So that means this becomes 3. And then 5 times 3, that is 15. 2 times 3, that is 6. Next is, since wala siyang exponent, so kapag ang variable ay walang exponent, that means the exponent is 1. So 1 times 3, that is also equal to 3. Next is for the denominator. So we have 2. 2 squared. 2 times 2, that is equal to 4. Okay, and then 3 times 2, the product is 6. And 6 times 2, the product is 12. Okay, now let's simplify it using the fourth law of exponents. So using the fourth law of exponents, we need to subtract the exponent value. Dito muna tayo sa first one. Ayan, so dito sa first given here, so 2 cubed and then 2 squared. So, tignan natin. So, the lower exponent is 2. So, that means we need to subtract the following by 2. Okay, so 2. So, 3 minus 2, that is 1. And then 2 minus 2, that is 0. So, 2 raised to 0. And so, next is A. Sulat muna natin. So, A. Yan. So, A. So, 15 minus 4, that is 11. 4 minus 4, that is also equal to 0. Next, for B. Ayan. So, B since parehas sila ng exponent, yan. So, 6 minus 6 is equal to 0, and then 0 din sa baba. And for letter C, yan. So, we have, so 12 is bigger. So, that means 12 minus 3, that is 9. And 3 minus 3, that is equal to 0. Ayan, so let's apply the zero power rule. Or it says that any number that is raised to 0 is equal to 1. Ayan, so lahat ng may zero exponent here ay tatanggalin na natin since they are equal to 1. So let's write yung mga natira, yung mga numbers at literal coefficient na hindi raised to 0. So, ang natira is 2 raised to 1. So, since 1 na ang kanyang exponent, wag na natin isama. And for A raised to 11, and 0 na yung B and C. So, dito naman sa denominator, yung 2 is raised to 0, A is raised to 0, B is raised to 0. So, C na lang yung natira. So, that is C raised to 9. So, that is the final answer for this given. Let's proceed right away to the fifth law of exponent. So, the fifth law of exponent is also called the power of quotient rule. So, like the power of the product rule, so same doon sa kanina, so the exponent needs to be distributed to all values within the grouping symbol it is attached to. Okay, so our grouping symbol here is parentheses. Ayan, so it says that we need to distribute it also. So that means distribute it to all variables inside this parentheses. So x raised to 10 and then y raised to 10. Okay? So next is for this one. So we have a raised to 2 or squared and then b raised to 2. So we can simplify 8 squared, right? So that is 8 times 8 is equal to 64 and then b squared. Okay, so next is this one. So 1/3 raised to 4. 1/3 raised to 4. So just distribute it. So 1 raised to 4 and then 3 raised to 4. So what is 1 raised to 4? That is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. That is equal to 1. So tandaan nyo kapag ang base is 1, kahit gaano pa kalaki yung exponent niya, that is always equal to 1. Okay, next is 3 raised to 4. 3 times 3 is equal to 9 times 3, 27 times 3, that is 81. So the answer is 1/81. Next is this one. So let's distribute it. So x raised to 6, and since we have a subtraction operation here, we cannot distribute it to all variables. So ang gawin na lang natin is put them inside the parentheses. So y minus z raised to 6. Okay, so that's it for the fifth law of exponent. Next is for the sixth law of exponent. So the negative exponent rule. So this time we have a negative exponent. So when there is a number being raised by a negative exponent, flip it into a reciprocal to turn the exponent into a positive. Okay, so don't use the negative exponent to turn the base into negative. Okay, so for letter A, so since we have n/8, so kapag ganyan ang given, ang denominator niyan is 1. So let's flip it or get the reciprocal. So that means the denominator becomes the numerator and the numerator becomes the denominator. So that is n/8. So from negative, Kapag nalipat siya sa denominator, the exponent becomes positive. Okay, so the answer is 1 over n raised to 8. Next, this one. Yan, so parehas silang may denominator na exponent. So all we have to do is to get the reciprocal. So the r becomes the numerator and its exponent becomes positive, and the p becomes the denominator and its exponent becomes positive also. Okay, so nagpalit lang sila ng pwesto. Next, another example for the sixth law of exponents. So we have s negative 2 yung kanyang exponent. So ilagay lang natin siya sa baba, ilagay lang natin siya sa baba, and then its exponent becomes positive, and then since t ay positive na ang kanyang exponent, so let's leave that there. So hindi na natin siya ilalagay sa baba. So since positive na yung kanyang exponent. Next is the u. So yung u is also raised to negative exponent. So ililipat natin siya. Malalagay siya sa numerator at ang kanyang exponent ay magiging positive. So u raised to 5 na. And then w, so since w has positive exponent, so nasa denominator pa. Okay? For letter D, another example for the sixth law of exponent. So we have 4. So isulat muna natin yung 4 since positive ang kanilang exponents, which is 1. Okay? And then we have itong 4 positive. So x raised to 4, positive na exponent niya. Okay. So next is this one is also positive. So ilagay pa rin natin siya sa baba. And then we have y raised to negative 7. So ibababa natin. We will put this variable that has negative exponents sa denominator, and of course we have another one here. So itataas natin siya, and then its exponent becomes positive. Okay, so we can still simplify it. Ayan, so that is 4 divided by 4, that is equal to 1. So kahit hindi na natin siya isama dahil 1 na ang kanyang numerical coefficient. Next is x raised to 4, and then z raised to 3. So as you can see, dito sa ating denominator, we have y squared and then y raised to 7. We can simplify that using the first law of exponents, where we can add its exponents, right? So that is y. 2 plus 7, that is equal to 9. So that is the final answer. So x raised to 4, z raised to 3, and then y raised to 9. Okay, so let's proceed to the seventh law of exponents. It is also called the zero power rule. So ito yung pinakamadali. So it says that any base raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So kahit ano pa yung base natin, basta it is raised to 0, the answer is 1. Example, so x raised to 0, that is 1. So we have y cubed and then z raised to 7, but it has a parenthesis here. So that means we have a grouping symbol and 0 as the exponent outside. That is equal to 1. And this is also 1. And 1 million raised to 0 is also equal to 1. So basta may nakita kayong grouping symbol. Ayan. So may grouping symbol for the 2 or more variables. Ayan. And outside is raised to 0. Huwag na kayong mag-aksaya na computin yung nasa loob because that is equal to 1. So that's it for the different laws of exponents. So we have 7 different laws. And I hope na nakatulong sa inyo ang video na to. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment it. If you have any additional information about the laws of exponent, kindly comment that sa baba. Okay, so that's it. So thank you for watching and see you on my next videos. Bye!